fall for you in the wintertime, in the cold, cold dark of night. I need your love to warm me, but you're nowhere inside. I've fallen way too many times to always watch you leave. I've wasted too many tears knowing I'm not what you need. So why can't you fall once for me? I fall for you in the spring, on every bright shiny day. But when those rains are finished falling, it seems they've carried you away. I fall for you in the summer, girl, you're hotter than the sun. Try to wrap my love around you before you have a chance to run. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Coming to you live for a special show tonight here from Tennessee Tales and Tunes, and also Ronnie McDowell's Music, Memories, and Masterpieces. We got a special show going on tonight for you. And right now, I'd like to introduce our special guest here in the studios in Nashville, Mr. Ronnie McDowell and Mr. Bill Medley from the Righteous Brothers.
In color.
Live and in color. Y'all look absolutely wonderful tonight.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you
much.
Absolutely. And Bill just flew in from California.
Yeah, I born and raised in California. Everybody thinks I'm probably from Texas, but Orange County, California. Actually, now I just bought a house in Vegas, but been out there all my life.
Man, it's beautiful, and you've done some great work, and it's my privilege and pleasure to have you sitting in my studio right now. It's an honor.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
Both of you are just absolute legends.
No,
Well,
you can leave him out. It's all right.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, in 1965, 64, during that time period, two television shows, Shindig and Hullabaloo. I used to watch this man when I was a teenager every Wednesday. And I only would watch it because him and Bobby were going to be on there, and that's why I would watch it, because they would come up with a new song. But Bill told me that they had what they were going to do, and the producer would walk up and said, "Bill, you got to do Little Latin Loopy Loo." And Bill goes, "We didn't have that planned tonight." And he said, "Yeah, but Elvis called in, and that's what he wants to hear."
That's what he wants to hear.
And Bill goes, "So we had to do Little Latin Loopy Loo."
Yeah, which I wrote it, so I was okay with it, but it's a silly little song.
Yeah, but what a great hit that was.
What
man.
a great hit. And you've done so much over the years. You've inspired so many people, so many musicians, movie actors. I mean, you've set history. Well, right now I'd like to bring to the show, I think we're going to be bringing in live movies, review, and more with Mr. Brian on here.
This
and you
program
should be
is
able to
designed
see him
provide general
right here in just a
information
minute.
with regards to the subject matters
You'll notice it in the
covered.
bottom
This
right-hand
information is
corner.
given
We're
with
going
the
live
understanding that
out to
neither
Los
the
Angeles
hosts,
and also out to
guests,
Charlotte.
sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
We got Mr. Brian Sebastian coming online with us here tonight. We've got a lot going on the show tonight. So before they get on here, we're going to say we are shooting a live show tomorrow night at the Troubadour in Nashville.
We are. Music, Memories, and Masterpieces. Going to be showing a lot of our art, which I'm excited about. As a matter of fact, I've got two of the large ones in my vehicle, what me and Bill came up in. He hasn't seen them, but I can't wait till he sees them tonight. I'm going to take him also and show him me and Dolly and George Jones sitting in a pickup truck that me and Tyler My youngest son did. And we do a lot of the artwork, but I never will forget Brian asked us a while ago, said, Ronnie, Bill said, there's no icons left anymore. And I said, Brian, I'm sitting here beside one right here. I'm sitting with Bill
That is so
Medley.
awesome. Well, we'd like to
Please.
welcome to the show right now Mr. Brian Sebastian and his crew right there. We
Hey,
got Miss
Brian.
Terry and Rachel and Howard. And welcome
man.
to the show, y'all. And we're on your show. And thank you for inviting us to be live with you guys here on Movie Reviews and More. Brian, say hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody. So we're talking on our end, Talk for TV, Talk for Media, K4HD Radio. We have a radio side for everybody listening as they're driving, doing everything around the world, and streaming on over 100 outlets around the world right now, which is great. And our co-host, Howard Wiggins from Brentwood, Tennessee, Rachel Ann Roberts from Houston, Texas, Terry Marie from Westlake, California, Carol Register from Chile, and then we have one of our other co-hosts coming in, Linda Steele from Chicago. And so here's the gang. Mike, I'm going to turn it back over to you for a minute because we're both broadcasting on many different outlets around the world right now, which is great. So you know what? I got to ask this question first because Edie Mahan, I got to mention my Southern mom.
Edie Mae, we love her.
Not be going to Tennessee. We would not be there going back to 28th there. Rachel's been with us. Terry's been with us. Howard, obviously. Howard goes in and out because you know why? I'm going to give a secret because he's moving. Because he doesn't have any internet. That's true country. You can't any country than that, can you? So, Ronnie, talk about this. You guys got a show coming up first. Let's talk about that show because that's important. Ticket sales is important. Getting people to listen to your songs, albums, cassettes, 8-tracks. It doesn't matter what it is. Everybody still got these things, and those things are important. Where are you tomorrow night with that strange guy next door to you at the Troubadour in Tennessee?
Well, I'm sitting next to this strange guy that I've admired and looked up to for 60-something years, the righteous brother Bill Medley. It don't get no better than "You Never Close Your Eyes," and the list goes on and on and on. And still, like me sitting here tonight, I can't believe I'm sitting here beside Bill Medley, and it's so nice of him to come up here and be with us tonight.
Well, thank you, son. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm thrilled about your show.
Well, I am too. That's tomorrow night at the Troubadour, and I'm excited about it because Ernest Tubb was one of the nicest people that you would ever want to meet. I never will forget when I first met him. He said, "Son, where you been?" I said, "Mr. Tubb." Now, this is when I first met him. I said, "I've been to Wisconsin this weekend." He said, "Did you make them any money?" I said, "Well, I hope so." He said, "Did you give them any extra?" And I said, "I didn't know I was supposed to." He said, "Son, let me tell you this. If you make them money, give them some money back. And if you lose them some money, also give them some money back." That was Ernest Tubb. But what you need to know about when Elvis Presley played the Ryman Auditorium, October the 12th, 1954, and they told him to go back and drive a truck, Ernest Tubb went in the dressing room and said, "Son, you're just different, and it's okay to be different." He says, "Matter of fact, you come over to my midnight jamboree tonight and you sing your new song. That's all right, Mama, because I understand they wouldn't let you sing it tonight." He said, "No, sir, they told me it was too pop. We had to do the B-side, Blue Moon of Kentucky." Well, it sounded just like the A-side.
Yeah, it does.
But anyway, that was Ernest Tubb. So we're at Ernest Tubb's Texas Troubadour tomorrow night, and I'm with this guy. Can you believe that? I'm with Bill Medley. I'm still sitting here like in awe.
You're making me feel old.
Well,
Bill, you have this.
Bill is still
Bill,
a
you
spring
have this
chicken.
iconic voice. He does. He has that iconic voice. How do you keep your voice going, Bill?
Well, bad sinuses for one thing, but no, I've been. A lot of people don't believe this, but when I was 15 or 16 years old, I was a first tenor, sang real high. I was 5'3", and I grew 7 inches in 1 year, and my voice went from first tenor down to wherever it is now. And so I've had this voice probably since I've been 20,
But what I love about it, Bill, it has a different tone than anybody else. But we're all different. We are. But you just have a different tone in your voice that sounds like nobody else.
Well, somebody told me that my voice was fractured. Like there's like I have the Temptations coming out of my throat when I sing, and but and even for Beautiful, the Carole King play, they couldn't find a medley because they do Love and Feeling in
Right.
that, and they said we can find a lot of Bobbies, but we can't get anybody that does your voice. I said you just have to pick one of the voices. I think I got about 3 of them coming out of here at the same time. But yeah, I've been blessed. But I don't know how. The truth is, I really don't know. It's probably better now than it has been in years, and I don't know how I've maintained it, other than I lost my voice in probably '73, and I was told I'd never sing again, and and so I started taking voice lessons and all that. So I learned how to do it correctly, and which I was afraid of doing it because I always thought they were going to make me sound like an opera singer or something. But so about an hour before the show, I'm in the shower going,
Oh yeah.
all that warm-ups.
Yeah.
And you need to do that.
Yep. I do that too. A voice doctor, I went because I was losing my voice, and he bent over the piano and hit a note, and he said, Ronnie, where do you hear that? I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, me, 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 me. I said, where do you hear that? He said, where do you hear that? And I said, I hear it up in here. He said, well, that's it. He said, gravity takes everything down. And he said, and your voice. He said, if you don't believe me, what do you got to sing coming up? I said, I'm singing for Elvis's 60th birthday with the Memphis Symphony. He goes, okay, what's the hardest thing you got to sing? And I said, If I Can Dream. I said, that thing's higher than forget the cat, that's higher than a giraffe's. and I'm telling you, he said, well, let me tell you what you do. You practice throwing your voice back up in your head, and you talk up in your head. And every now and then when you sing, go down and grab a note, but take your voice back up in your head, and that's all it is. And it took me 2 weeks, and now it's all I do.
Yeah.
And he said, if you don't believe me, listen to a young Elvis. He said, singing way up there, but it was up in here.
Yeah.
He said, and then, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. He started going down. And he said, you got to throw your voice back up in your head. And that's all it is.
Yeah, well, if you can get that, and Elvis had the greatest for the head voice in the world, I thought. And the getting it way up here, man. And I had a voice teacher say, talk like that during the day. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, that's exactly.
It made my wife nuts, but what are you gonna do?
I got to tell y'all this story. Bill told me. He said Elvis was playing the big room at the International Hilton. He said me and Bobby were in the club. He said in 1969, Ronnie. He said me and Bobby was pretty hot stuff too. I said, you think? And he said one night, Bill said I was sitting on a stool, and he said, boy, I was getting into it and had my eyes closed, and he said I was tearing them up. I thought I was, and he said all of a sudden somebody tapped me on the shoulder, and I opened my eyes, and it was Elvis. And he said he was the place was going crazy. He'd got through with his show, come see Bill, and he just winked at Bill and walked off. And Bill said later, he called me and said, hey, Medley, I hope I didn't mess your show up, man. And Bill said, are you kidding, Elvis? Would you come back tomorrow and do it again? And Bill said, guess what, Ronnie? He did. I mean,
Hey, Ronnie and Bill, I got a question for you, but I'm going to turn it over to one of my other co-hosts. So Linda Steele, you get the first question, followed by Carol. Go.
Of course, and I jumped on late because I couldn't find the camera on my computer. Anyway, hi guys.
Hi.
My one of my favorite songs is Unchained Melodies. Can you tell me a little bit about what went into that song? Like, what exactly was the idea behind it? Like, what was the motivation behind it? Love it.
Well, yeah, well, interesting sitting on the couch with Ronnie. It was a big hit record for Bobby and I. And then Mike Curb called me and said, I want you to produce uh, Ronnie McDowell doing Unchained Melody. And I couldn't do it. But he did a great job. But a lot of people don't know Unchained Melody was the B side of a song that Carole King wrote for us. And for some reason, every disc jockey in the country just flipped it over and started playing Unchained Melody. And then, God bless the movies, here comes Ghost. And boy, just one of those songs that, well, we've just been blessed by great songwriters, Barry and Cynthia with You've Lost It, Love and Feeling, and, you know, just had a blessed career.
And soul.
Carol Register. Carol Register, all the way from Chile. You're next, Carol. Go for it.
Hey, thank you very much. It's so wonderful to meet you guys. You guys hear me?
Oh, yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
What?
great. My sound's been going in and out, but you guys have become, over time, master storytellers. And of course, with the music first, but even just sitting here listening to you. And I wondered if you had, like, how you had taken that ability and learned how to put it into music.
Well, I'm a history nut because I love history. I was telling Bill coming over here, I said, Bill, I love history. I was telling him some stories about different entertainers that I know and their stories about songs. And so we had a lot of conversation. And Bill, when I picked him up at the Opryland Hotel, he had no earthly idea how far Mike's place was. And halfway here, he goes, where's this place at? Out in Burbank or something?
China. It's somewhere in China.
Well, you know, and you know, taking the songs, you know, that and making them sound real on stage is, or even when you record. I mean, I sing the way I talk, and probably talk the way I sing, and that's why I think a lot of people think I'm maybe a Southern boy because I was raised on rhythm and blues, and so I kind of talk that way. But I think holding on to it's like Ronnie. I mean, if I hear a Ronnie McDowell record, I know it's Ronnie McDowell, and so I think it's very important to hold on to your voice. You know who you are and how you sound.
Yeah, and I was telling Bill, not to interrupt, coming up here, I got a phone call from Dick Clark right after my first record. I was in Baton Rouge, and Dick Clark said, Ronnie, there's a private jet for you at the airport, Baton Rouge Airport. Get on it, get some rest. You're going to be on American Bandstand tomorrow. Well, I didn't believe it was him, and he finally said, Ronnie, this is Dick Clark. I said, okay. So I didn't sleep a wink. I mean, not a wink. And so I landed at the airport in L.A., got on a helicopter. They put me right down in front of the ABC lot, rushed me into makeup, and here come Dick Clark. And I said, wow, Dick Clark, I can't believe I'm here. He said, Ronnie, you've sold 2 million records in 2 weeks. It's unheard of. You're number 9. You deserve to be here. I said, well, Mr. Clark, we just kind of threw this song together, and I don't know it that well. It's only been 2 weeks. And I said, I'm so glad y'all pantomime. He said, Ronnie, we don't do that anymore. He said, you'll have cue cards under the camera. He said, when that red light comes on, there'll be 82 million people watching you. My heart froze. I said, oh my God. But I told Bill, I said, if you watch me on that, doing The King Is Gone on American Bandstand, I looked like I knew what the hell I was doing. I never missed a word or a syllable or nothing. And I think Elvis was hanging out with me doing The King Is Gone.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, next question. Rachel Ann Roberts from Houston, Texas. Go ahead, Rachel.
My question is, when you guys coming to Texas?
We was just in Texas. We
Yeah,
was at
well,
Wichita.
no, we're going back next week.
Yeah, we're going. Is it next week we're back?
Yeah, not this coming. Well, we're
2
in
weeks
the
from now.
Carolinas, but
Yeah, 2 weeks
next
from
week
now.
we're going to be in
Where in
Texas.
Texas? Austin or Houston or?
That's a good question.
It's always a good
Hey,
question.
I have a motto. I just go after 50 years.
I'll find that question out for you. Make sure you have an answer for that.
Yeah, I'm coming.
All right.
The Righteous Brothers are coming to Texas. I don't know, in the next couple of months, I think. I don't know where. I know how much we're getting paid. That's about it.
Hey, Howard Wiggins. So you guys know Howard and everything like that. So
Yes.
you guys have always played at the opera and stuff like that. Howard, go ahead.
I know the Jordanaires played with Eddie Arnold and my dad before Elvis. Did you ever record with the Jordanaires behind you?
Have I? Yeah,
Yes, fine.
yeah. When Kenny Rogers made it real big in country, I knew Kenny from his rock and roll days out there in L.A. and he was working with Larry Butler, and Larry was having huge success with Kenny, and he asked Kenny, he said, I would really love to produce Medley if you can. He said, I'll call him. So anyway, I came out, and I can't remember exactly what year. It must have been about 78 or somebody like that. And I met him at the studio, and very interesting. It was just Johnny Cash and Larry Butler. Johnny Cash was singing this song, "You got to know when to hold, know when to fold." And I thought, oh, that's a cute little song. And that's a
Number
cutie.
one with a bullet.
Yeah, and then about 6 months later, I hear Kenny Rogers singing, "You got to know." And so, but I did an album with Larry, and I sang with the Jordanaires, and I loved the Jordanaires, and I used to listen to. I knew all the stuff on it, the Elvis records. Matter of fact, I told Elvis, I said I could sing. He said, well, some of that stuff. He said, well, why don't you jump up on stage and sing? I said, yeah, all those women, that's exactly what they want to see. It's just this skinny white man jump up there. But I did. I said, I'll go on tour with you as long as you don't introduce me, and I'll sing. But he had two of the greatest bass singers
Oh, he sure did.
Oh,
in
J.D.
the world.
Sumner.
Oh my!
J.D. Sumner Stamps Quartet. Actually, J.D. Sumner was my father's third cousin.
Really?
So he was part of my father's side of the family. So I got to meet J.D. numerous times, and just a wonderful man.
You're a sweet guy.
Absolutely.
He'd always say to me every time he said, Bill thought he was a bass singer until he heard me. And Elvis Presley just loved bass singers.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, and he liked, black bass singers, and he thought I was one of them. And but he called me in my dressing room. He said, Bill, come down to the dressing room. I want you to hear this new bass singer that I have. And I went down there, and it was J.D. And he has that great. He cups his.
Oh, he
has
cupped his
almost
ear,
make-
yeah.
like getting your own
Well, I never
studio.
will forget in '77 when The King Is Gone was out. I was in Peoria, and Ed Enoch walked up to me, the Stamps, and he said, "J.D. wants to see you on the bus." So I walked up on the bus, and there was nobody there but me and him. I said, "How you doing, Mr. Sumner?" And I was so excited to be with J.D. Sumner. And He said, "Son, I'm going to whoop your ass." I said, "Oh, why you going to do that, Mr. Sumner?" And he said, "I don't think I need to be opening for you. I've been opening for the biggest star that's ever been on the planet." I said, "Well, Mr. Sumner, I totally agree with you, and I'd rather go on first and get out of here anyway." And he goes, and then I could tell he'd been drinking. He said, "Well, son, I didn't really mean I was going to whoop your ass. I bet."
Well, thank you, Mr. Sumner.
But right then, right at that moment, until he died, we were like that, best friends.
My memory of JD was we met him we was at a bluegrass festival up in Kentucky,
Yeah.
and I was probably 11, 12 years old, and the only thing he ever said with me was, "Son, you need to eat more." I was like real skinny. That's all he said to me. He said, "Son, you need to eat more," and he just kept right on walking.
Well, he has an opinion.
Yeah. Oh, he did. He'd tell you his opinion also.
Yeah, he would.
But he was
Hey,
such
Mike.
a sweet man. Yes.
Mike, was this the same JD that played with Jimmy Buffett also?
No.
I
don't think so.
No, different one.
Okay.
No, it's J.D. Sumner and the Stamps Quartet. And they,
I see,
of
okay.
course, J.D. was famous way before Elvis, singing with gospel quartets. But when he started with Elvis at the International Hotel in '69, and, through that time period, that's when he became really famous because of that.
He's an incredible singer. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how bass guy. I mean, I can hit low notes, but when JD was singing the song, Elvis had a piano in the dressing room, and they were singing this song. Elvis wanted me to hear it, and JD's singing right in my ear, and I mean, he's way down here, way down. I can get down there.
I don't know, Bill. You get down there pretty low.
Well, I can get down there, but it don't pay.
They don't pay.
Hey, Bill, in the R&B world, you guys, the Righteous Brothers, got credit for Blue Eyed Soul, if you remember, and that
yeah.
turned a lot of us on for that. How did that make you feel when you guys crossed over to that? Because music has no boundaries, but then everything was kind of segregated.
Well,
Until
it
you're
was
next.
very segregated. We had recorded this song that I wrote, Little Latin Loopy Loo, and it kind of became a hit. At least it started things off. And we went out on the road to promote it, and all the black stations were playing it. And when we showed up to do the interview, we said, "We're the Righteous Brothers." And they said, "You better be part of the band." I said, "No, me and this little blonde-haired kid, we're the Righteous Brothers." And so we would do the interview, and they would take our record off. And it wasn't a racial thing. I mean, they weren't playing us on operatic stations either. But, and then when Love and Feeling came out, and I think it was a disc jockey from Philadelphia, I believe, and it was an all-black station, and what he would do is say, "Here's You've Lost That Love and Feeling by my righteous brother, what is it, Blue Eyed Soul Righteous Brothers," or something like that, hipping his audience, telling his audience that we were white, because Blue Eyed Singer was a white guy. The white guy would be referred to as a blue-eyed.
Right.
So that he started calling us the Blue-Eyed Soul Singers, and for some reason it took off, and we were, listen, man, we were very honored because it really came from the black audience, and that's what we were doing, and I guess we were doing it real legitimately, and they liked that, and even our name, the Righteous Brothers, was named by the Black Marines in California. Like if you had a great looking car, 55 Chevrolet or something, they'd say, "Man, us white guys would say, boy, that's a cool car," or bitchin'. And black guy would say, "Boy, what a righteous looking car," which meant good. And they would always, and if they liked you as a friend, they would call you a brother. So a lot of times when we were singing, there was a Marine base down there in Orange County, and the Black Marines heard that we were doing rhythm and blues down there, and they would come. And so a lot of times they would yell out, "Well, that's righteous, brother," which meant good friend in reality. And we didn't even have a name when we recorded Little Latin Oopie Loo, and so we said, well, they're not calling us the Beatles, so let's go with the Righteous Brothers.
And Bill told me a story coming up here. He said we opened up for the Beatles, and he said the whole crowd was screaming, "We want the Beatles! We want the Beatles!"
Yeah, clapping and screaming, "We want the Beatles! You got the Beatles! You got." No, we also opened up for the Rolling Stones' first American tour, and that was kind of fun. I mean, it was the Beatle thing was great, but literally they were chanting, "We want the Beatles," all except California. We were pretty big, but it was before Love and Feeling, and but the Stones they were more earthy, a little soulfuler, or a little more like where we were coming from. So they were a lot of fun to open for.
And I was telling Bill coming up here today that Jimmy Snow, Hank Snow, is a really good friend of mine. He's 92 now, and he's one of the only people left on this earth that rode around with Elvis in a car in 55, 56, and I hope to get him on the show if his health, holds up, and because he has so many stories. But my favorite one is when they were in Jacksonville, Florida, at the Jacksonville Theater with the Wilburn Brothers. Jimmy Snow was a singer on RCA, Hank's boy. Well, Hank was the big star. Well, Elvis was on the show. So Elvis went on, did his thing, Wilburn Brothers, Jimmy Snow, and then Hank come out to sing his #1 record. That a big 8-wheeler rolling down the track says my true loving daddy ain't a coming back. Well, halfway through that song, the whole crowd was doing like y'all, we want Elvis, we want Elvis. And Hank Snow, Jimmy told Elvis, said, my dad will say anything to anybody, and he quit right in the middle of that #1 song, and he goes, well, if you'll just let me finish this number, the little bastard will come out and sing you another song.
That sounds like something he might do.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Mary Marie, go for it.
Oh, anyway, I just got a kick out of the bandstand thing because it's a little trivia before I ask my question. I was a regular on American Bandstand all through high school. So, Did you guys get to sign the board in the back? Because they had all the talent would sign the back, and then the kids would come run up to you and stuff. How was that experience with the kids coming up to you, the dancers, like somebody like me?
Yeah, Dirty Dancing is. Everything in the Righteous Brothers career or my career has been an accident, a good accident, and I think you get more by accidents in this business than do on purpose. But they called me and said, we want you to sing for this movie. And I said, well, I can't do it. My wife is expecting our daughter, and I promised her that I would be there. And I said, but tell me, what's the name of the movie? They said, Dirty Dancing. I said, that sounds like a bad porno movie.
And here's where I come into the picture again with Bill. So Mike Curb did all the music in the movie, so Bill turned it down. He didn't want to do it. So Mike Curb called me and said, I didn't know what to do. Said, I got to do this song. The only other guy that I know that I wanted to sing this song was Ronnie McDowell. He said, so I picked up the phone and I was getting ready to dial you. Here's how fate works. Fate is a hunter. It will find you. It found him. Well, as soon as he picked up the phone to call me, Mike Curb, to sing, I had the time of, well, guess what? The other phone rang and it was Bill. And Bill said, you know, Mike, I've decided I'm going to do that song. But you know what I told him? It was not meant for me to do that. It was meant for him to do that.
Well, the demo that they sent me, the guys were singing the real high tenor, you know. No, I've had time, and it's like love and feeling started there, and
Right.
they had the no, I've had time of my life down there lower, and they did, but I don't think they wrote it that way, but they wanted to get that. You never close, they wanted to
Right.
try and get that, and so it kind of,
Well, did you ever do it? I'm telling you, man, you put it on it.
yeah,
And when you did it, stick a fork in it, it was done.
And everybody, even nowadays, still knows that song when it starts playing. Even the younger
Yeah,
generation
the
today,
kids even know it.
it's a timeless piece.
yeah,
It's timeless.
I just sang at, oh man, I got a 85-year-old mind. The, come on, it's the biggest TV show in here. Come on now.
In Nashville.
Ed Sullivan in
No,
Nashville?
no, it's a
no.
country show. Come on, it's the biggest show in the world, Nashville. Come on, man. Ryman
Oh, the Opry.
Auditorium.
Opry.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Grand Ole
you
Opry
did the
Show.
Grand Ole Opry.
Yes.
Yeah, I did the
He was
grass.
on there.
Scared me to death, and I just did it recently, and because I did a kind of a country album, but I sang 4 songs, and "Time of My Life" was one of them, and my daughter comes out and sings it with me, and everybody, and Mike Curb was there. A lot of people, they said, but boy, all the girls stood up and started dancing, and I mean, this is 100 years old, this song, and
Well,
so am I.
that's like I went to my bank yesterday and I said, "You ain't gonna believe who's gonna be on my show Wednesday night." I said, "Bill Medley." She goes, "Bill Medley," and I said, "So you're trying to tell me you don't know? You never close your." She goes, "No." I said, "Well, how about this? I had the time of my." She goes, "Well, yeah, I love that song." See,
You know,
she was a young girl, but they know that.
Dirty Dancing movie. The soundtrack for that was voted one of the most favorite soundtracks ever.
Oh yeah.
Well, it is a good soundtrack. I thought the music in that movie.
Oh, I
And
did
who
too.
knew that? Jennifer and I recorded the song, not thinking that anything was going to happen. The song was. I mean, the movie was a cute little movie, and this and that, and then it
Yeah,
just
but it became
blew
a-
up. Just blew up, and
Yeah.
And "Time of My Life" was just in the perfect spot in the movie.
Perfect.
But it really is I think it sold 32 million copies or something like that.
1 or 2.
Yeah, it did all right.
Well, it done all right.
You think?
1 or 2. 1 or 2.
So
done all
what
right.
happens what happens when the prequel's being shot? I'm sure they're going to be calling you two again.
I don't know. I was a little disappointed when Top Gun. They just did Top Gun 2, and Love and Feeling was in Top Gun, and it was in it there a lot. And so I figured, no, they'll put it in the new one too, but they didn't. So I hope. I mean, I hope they use it. It would be nice. I could use a hit record.
And Bill and I did this song. I wrote this song with a friend of mine, Lee Bogan, called "Lost in Dirty Dancing." So I gave it to Mike Curb. Well, get this. That's how I met Mr. Bill, because we went out to California and he recorded it with me. And then Mike Curb took that version and sent it over to England. You remember the guy that did "Little Less Conversation, Lot More Action, Please"? Well, that became a worldwide hit. They played it at all the soccer games. So the guy that did that redid our version of "Lost in Dirty Dancing," and Mike Curb did that. So I'm hoping that they use that in the next segment. I mean,
Why not?
They might be calling you to sing the next section. You just never know. You might have to take it this time.
well, he and I are doing a duet on that.
You got
There you go.
But let me tell you what we just did
Hey, Ronnie.
recently.
I have
Yeah.
one more question though for Ronnie. I just kind of curious. If Elvis was alive today and he was sitting next to you, what would you ask him about his music, or what do you think he'd have to say? I'm just kind of curious if what do you
Well,
think?
I got over being starstruck a long time ago. A long time ago. But I will tell you this. Now, if I was sitting next to Elvis, now Bill knew Elvis. They were friends. They were buddies. You know what I would do? If anybody owes a debt of gratitude to Elvis Presley, it's Ronnie McDowell. Because in 1956, my sister set me down in front of this little black and white TV, and her name is Linda Sue, but all I know her by is Tootie because she loved Little Richard's Tutti Frutti. And that's all we call her is Tootie. Well, so she set me down and said, you know that guy that I've been bringing home those records? I said, which one? You bring them all home. She said, that Elvis Presley guy. She said, well, he's on the Dorsey shows tonight, but none of the kids at school are watching it because it's big band. But she said, you got to watch him. Well, Bill, when he walked out, I hadn't even started the first grade, but I loved those records that she was bringing home. But when he walked out, you know what I told my sister? I said, I swear to you, I said, Tootie, that guy's too pretty to be a guy. That's what I told my sister.
Well, you'll be okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not into that. But anyway, but that was my first impression. But I would say to Elvis, I'd say, Elvis, man, thanks. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Well, let me tell you this, Bill. When that record, The King Is Gone, hit, my mother had 11 of us. I'm number 7. She was mopping the floor. They divorced in 55. So when that record hit that afternoon, I went to this restaurant where she was mopping the floor, and I said, Mother, take your apron off. You never have to work again. She said, son, can't you see I'm working? I said, no, Mother, you never have to work again. Come out to the car. Swear to God, Bill. Turned the radio on, and that song, The King Is Gone, was on every station. She never worked again till she died.
Well, God bless you. Man.
That's awesome.
Because of Elvis. So that's what I would say to Elvis. Thank you for what you did for my mother.
No.
He
And
inspired
talk
so
about the
many
General Ambulance book. You got to talk about that book, Ronnie. That's very, very
that's,
important. How you can get it.
Edie Mae, Elvis's cousin. And if somebody would have tapped me on my shoulder and when I was in the first grade and said, hey, one day you're going to write a book with Elvis Presley's cousin, how could I have wrapped my mind around that? And so anyway, she and I wrote that, and I am now an author, but before I did that, I couldn't even spell author.
And you know, Brian there has something. Edie Mae is his southern mother right here. So there's a story with Brian also on there about that.
Well, she's, Edie's the reason that we went to Tennessee. That's very, very important. You know, I found a film of her called The Last Christmas Ride about the family, the Hood Hacker Plan from Alabama and everything, which Elvis is a part of. And so when I picked the film for the Hollywood Film Festival in 2014, 2015, she goes, Brian, I want you to come to Tennessee. And I said, well, why do I need to go to Tennessee? She goes, there's a lot of people that need your help there. I'm like, how am I supposed to help them? They're already famous. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about until I went there. And then when we went there, she goes, Brian, I want you to meet my people. They need to meet you and vice versa. You can help a lot of them. This is 2018. Well, this is 2018 when she said that when they finally went there. And then when we went back, Linda Steele came, Rachel came, Howard was there, Terry was there. And then Howard came from Rachel. So all of our good people that we met came from there, which is interesting. So even though I don't live in that state, you guys have been really, really great for us. And it's just the beginning of everything that's happening. You know, Mike and I talked the last 2 days. Ronnie and I talked yesterday or the day before when we were putting all the stuff together, because this was last minute. And we're booked 4 months in advance. So I'm just honored that we could just make it work on 2 different platforms going live at the same time. And we got a couple minutes left. Linda Steele, go for it. Ask your next question. And then Ronnie and Mike, I want you to talk about your military service, because that's very, very important and what you guys did, serving our country.
Well,
Yes,
thank you.
for your service.
Absolutely.
First of all, thank you for the service. We're huge supporters of our United States military, and we, not a day goes by that we don't salute you. But my question to you is, when you look back on your life, you have so many memories. Like, what is the most exciting? What is something that you're most grateful for that you got to experience?
Me? Oh, geez,
Yes.
boy. Actually, and I'm sure if Bobby was here to say the same thing. Well, the most exciting things that we did as young art. I mean, we were doing real well, but we were the opening act for Jack Benny. And,
wow.
And we got to do a monologue with Jack Benny.
Wow.
And it was just a thrill of a lifetime. I mean, he was a wonderful, wonderful guy. So Bobby and I always felt that was an amazing time. But I've had so many things, like opening for the Beatles and the Stones and getting the good friends with Elvis. And so I think that and my family.
Carol.
Yeah, that this is the history that you guys musically is so exciting, for those of us who are close to your age or in your age group. I mean, just going back and recount and hearing all these beautiful stories like with Jack Benny. Is there anybody that, I know you get asked about this a lot and you've mentioned a lot of people, but is there anybody that really stands out for some particular event that you haven't shared in a long time?
Well, there was a moment with Raquel. No, it was just.
You got to dig deep now.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That would have been a good moment.
Yeah.
That would have been a great moment, and it would have been a moment, by the way.
Well,
But,
I got to tell you, one of my favorite times is I was blessed. Dick Clark. I did a movie with him starring Kurt Russell. I got to be Elvis's voice. I told Mr. Bill coming up here, I did 38 songs in that movie, and it was movie of the year back in '78. And he got an Emmy for that. Then Priscilla called me. She said, "Ronnie, I'm doing a movie called Elvis and Me after my #1 book, and I want you to be Elvis's voice." I did 36 songs in that movie, and everywhere I go, Bill, everybody goes, "What's she like?" And I go, "I don't know, but I know what she don't like because I tried that."
Well, hey, Mr. Ronnie, you need to tell them about when your mother found out about the scene in the movie.
Well, that was my aunt.
Your aunt.
I took
your
my
aunt.
84-year-old Aunt Irma to see Breathless with Richard Gere. I sang Suspicious Minds in that movie, but they didn't tell me where I was going to sing it. Well, Richard Gere stripped off butt naked and got in the shower and turned on a waterproof radio, I guess. He started singing along with me, singing Suspicious Minds, and I looked at my 84-year-old Aunt Irma, and I said, "Irma, I swear to you, I did not know where I was going to sing this song. We can leave right now." She looked at me, and she goes, "I ain't going nowhere."
Oh, wow.
Hey, we got about 3 minutes left. Rachel, next. Go quick.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I'm going to be 53 in a few days, and this was like the best birthday present a girl could ask for.
Well, you
I just had my birthday, Rachel.
You look like a spring chicken. You don't look 53.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, whatever you're drinking, give me some of it, baby.
Cheers.
Well, I have Rachel beat. I have Rachel beat. I just turned 59.
Oh, you're a spring chicken, too. You don't look 59.
I'm 59 years old as of July 30th. Yeah, so.
Oh, wow. Well, you girls look beautiful.
56.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
See?
What'd you say?
56.
56.
What in God's name are you girls taking or drinking? Good Lord.
But you know what's so great? We have 3 Leos right here.
Yes, Leos.
Yeah.
Leo season.
3 Leos together.
That's
Oh,
right.
Lord.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Hey,
Brian,
our
how do you
engineer.
deal with that? How do you deal with it, Brian? How do you deal with it?
I have nothing to do with it.
Yes,
Nothing.
you do. Every day.
I just
Yeah.
get it back. Hey,
Brian,
got
don't
one
forget-
last question for you. What?
Hey, don't forget, if you get a chance, I want you to interview my young son. He signed with Curb Records when he was 9. He's got this new song that he and I wrote called What Jimmy Buffett Would Do. I swear to you, y'all going to love this song. It's my favorite thing besides older women.
I think me and Brian we're already texting back and forth, going to work that out. We're going to
Well,
get
good.
Tyler on there and make sure that he
Fantastic.
can do that.
I've already got a date for him. So, and Mike, that
great.
studio, I like that studio. That when the next time we do our show in Tennessee, we're using that studio.
Absolutely, you're more than
Fantastic.
welcome to.
Yeah, and
Hey,
it's a
last
nice.
question for you guys.
Yeah.
So, Mike, talk about this. This is important because who are you music director with? Who do you play with?
Well, I am very blessed to get to play with this young man sitting right here on the couch. I get to I do some stage managing. I get to play bass on some shows. I get to play drums on some shows. I get to play guitar, and I get to travel with Mr. Ronnie, and he's kind of like become my dad. So, and he gives me good advice on stuff, and I appreciate him very much for being able to do that. And it's been wonderful to get to travel with him. And we've had a great Red, White, and Blue tour this year.
Yeah, with
Matter of fact,
Paulette Carlson from
yeah,
Highway
Paulette
101.
Carlson, Jeff Bates, Doral Gresham from the Coral Reefer Band was with us there for a little while.
Jason D. Williams.
Jason
Jerry
D.
Lee
Williams.
Lewis's son, I'm
Yep.
telling you.
And then we done a show with Mickey from the Monkees.
Yeah, we sure did. Mickey Dolan.
Mickey Dolan's from the Monkees. So we have got to do some very cool things. We're going to Augusta, Georgia here this weekend.
And
See
then the
Augusta,
Carolinas.
Lumberton, North Carolina, and then Wilson, North Carolina, which ticket sales and the crowds are already forming up really good for those.
Lumberton is sold out.
Lumberton is
But
sold
what I
out.
was going to tell you, tomorrow night, I get to be with this young fellow right here again for the music memories and masterpieces. And we got to get to show Tyler and I. We do the art together, and I can't wait till you see. I signed with Disney about 15 years ago, and it's one of the biggest thrills of my life to be a Disney artist.
Yep,
Sure, why not?
And it's been my pleasure to actually get to produce that show, and we've had some great numbers on it, and it's just an honor to get to produce shows with my heroes of growing up, like Bill and Ronnie and William Golden. We just had on the show Jimmy Velvet. I still get to about every couple of weeks I go pick him up and we go have breakfast at Cracker Barrel now.
That's
So I've built a lot of good things. I'm very grateful for all of these folks. And there's a picture of us and Jimmy having breakfast and getting to sit here just around my heroes that I grew up listening to is phenomenal for me.
Well, thank you.
Hey, we got one last question before we close out the show. Howard Wiggins. Go ahead, Howard, real quick.
Yeah. Did you ever get any presents from Elvis from Christmas? Because I did.
You did? No, I never got it.
nice.
I never got a present.
Oh, really?
I guess I was too close to him. I don't know.
I
I
guess.
asked him
I
for
don't
a
know.
watch, but he turned me down.
I did get a watch. I got a watch with a white rope band and a gold face.
And
But
your
my mother threw it away.
your mother threw it away.
Yeah, when I went to college.
Oh,
So,
Lord. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
I was just going to tell you, I love Little Roy Wiggins.
well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, it's an honor and pleasure to have you guys on. Would love to have you guys back anytime you want to come. And, when I run into the people at Lionsgate would be the next 3 weeks. I'll be over there because I want to know what's happening with that prequel, because you can't have a prequel to Dirty Dancing without Bill, your songs. It's just not possible. Some kind of way it's got to fit, and they will make it work. I guarantee you, because that young audience, your songs are priceless. Both of you. It just is. So how
Hey,
could you not have that come back?
But I do want to tell you all this. This young fellow right here was so generous and gracious. We have 4 songs on my new duet album on Curb. I've got Wayne Newton, George Jones, Farron Young, Roy Acuff, Mickey Gilley. But the coolest thing that Bill and I did, we were able to take the guitar off of Elvis's first record, My Happiness, that he paid $2 for in 1953, build a whole new track around his vocal. So me and Bill are doing a trio with the Elvis Presley. Wow. I can't wait till y'all hear this. When you hear Bill and Elvis together, it is mind-boggling.
That's a great
How
thing.
cool is
Hey,
that?
I want to thank all you guys. Go out to support them tomorrow night in Nashville at the Troubadour down there. Get there early because, it will sell out because of these two, that's for sure. Hey, Mike, thank you for what you're doing. We got Mike coming up on the show pretty soon. I'm going to give him a couple dates in a little bit. And I can't wait to hear about Tyler's story there. That'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah,
too,
Tyler.
Because
I'm telling you, wait till you hear some of his music. To me, and I'm not saying it because he's my kid, because he's so far beyond me with the art and the music and everything. But like I say, and my oldest son is my drummer, and he was Musician of the Year 2 years ago in Nashville, and I can't chew gum and pat my feet at the
Probably
same
one of the
time.
best drummers that I've ever heard in Nashville.
He's
Absolutely.
the best drummer. I'm telling y'all, and I'm not saying it because he's my kid. I don't know where they get this from.
I'll say it because I've hired him to play with me, and he's just absolutely probably one of the best drummers I've ever worked with downtown and in Nashville.
You know why he's so good, Mike? Because drummers bang harder. That's why.
That's
so
very
now
true.
that I've said that,
Well, I know about your story about drum corps, okay?
oh, absolutely.
But I do want to
yeah.
tell y'all that I am a 3-term combat veteran of the Vietnam War and damn proud of it.
Attaboy,
Yes.
Will. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I had
Hey, and
I
as
had
always
4
say to
years.
them, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I had 4 years Marine Corps and 16 years Navy, and I was both Gulf Wars and also Kosovo. So I'm just happy to be here and with a fellow sailor here in the house. As he told me one time, he said, "You know, if I was still in the Navy, you'd have been my boss, but now I'm your boss." So.
Hey, I always say this. Thank you for everybody listening around the world. Have a good night tonight. A better day tomorrow. You see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours. This is Movie Reviews and More. We will see you next week, and go out and support the arts. Support those 2 young men there. And we can't wait to see you in the near future. We will see you next week.
It's going to be great.
Thank y'all.
Then we're going to stick around for just a second for all of our Tennessee Tales and Tunes fans that are online tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Mr. Ronnie McDowell and Mr. Bill Medley from the Righteous Brothers here in the Tennessee Tales and Tunes studio, coming to you live. Thank you, fellas, for being here tonight and everything you do. And thanks for being an inspiration to all the younger folks like myself and all the new kids coming up. We thank you very much. And
Thank you.
It's going to be a great show tomorrow night. Y'all make sure you get down there and get your tickets.
Yep.
Because it's going to be fun. We're going to be on the main stage at the Troubadour in Nashville, Tennessee, in Music Valley, right across from the Opryland Hotel. You guys come get your tickets, come get a seat, and watch the live show. And there's going to be a special show. The band is going to be playing afterwards from around 8:30 to 10. So there's going to be a special show after that.
Yep. I might even talk Bill into singing a song.
I hope we can. That would be marvelous. But thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and we hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much. Have a great night from Tennessee Tales and Tunes. Mike Ponder, love y'all. See the leaves falling, baby, under a bright blue autumn sky. I can feel the change is coming, but I still don't know why. I fall for you in the wintertime, in the cold, cold dark of night. I need your love to warm me